Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you are all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and Super Week is officially over. The seeding for the major starting in just a couple of days time on Wednesday is officially set. Going to be going through a number of very interesting matchups today and their implications for what this major might look like, what matchups we might potentially see, and who might end up taking this championship at the end of the day. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. So much support on the content as of late. Hope you guys have enjoyed Super Week, certainly as much as I have. Clayster says this before the matches kick off: do or die, put ourselves in a spot where we can control our destiny and get into the winners bracket, that of course being the New York Subliners. They could actually have got the second seed. That's not how it works out. We'll look at exactly how it breaks down in just a second here. This I thought was interesting though from Clayster just before we kicked off, saying that he was warming up and everything felt off. He was actually somehow his PC or whatever was reset to 60 Hz, which we talked about how much Gunless improved when he went to 240 Hz, and for some reason Envoy says all our league PCs did that recently as well, so who knows whether that was affecting some of the matchups today, but hopefully it will get fixed in time. These were my predictions for the day. Most people went in a similar manner. That is how it ended up, but the series was certainly closer than maybe some people would have predicted. The game number one was pretty interesting, right? There were some stream problems. Most things considered, like all things considered this season, most of the time it's been okay with the stream issues, but there has been the occasional thing where for some reason it goes down, especially this game one. We just didn't get to see the end of it. Like it looked like Seattle were going to close it out. They did end up doing so, but it was kind of unclear exactly what was happening there. For some reason the stream just completely cut out for me, as I think it did for most people, to the end of that map one. But Raid Hardpoint actually does go the way of Seattle Surge. Pretty impressive from them. Their Hardpoint has certainly been looking solid, and honestly all the teams in the league are pretty competitive, right? Like it's tough to say who's going to win any particular series on any particular day, but Subline is certainly the favourites in this one. Then we go into game two on the Miami Search and Destroy, and Loony gets this crazy ace, right? Like fair play to him. He's honestly been turning up pretty big for the Seattle Surge as of late, especially after that pretty difficult one he had against Shotzzy a couple of weeks ago. I'm sure you guys might remember. I think it was at the opening weekend, in fact. But yeah, Loony gets a pretty crazy ace right here. You can see pops the 3-piece, finishes off the last one as well for the ace in the Search and Destroy, but it doesn't prove to be enough. New York end up clutching up this map at the end of it, and well, Subliners outslay then in the control by 26 kills. You can see they completely dominate the control on raids. Very much a map that favours Subliners right now. They did of course lose that map to the Dallas Empire that we talked about a couple of days ago, but as you can see, Subliners 3-0 the Surge. Asim has a 1.45, you know, Clayster 1.47. The slang on this team was absolutely out of control this map, yeah, not too much Seattle seemed to be able to do about it. Going into game 4 as well, they do just about closing out the Subliners. This was a crazy Moscow Hardpoint, man. Like every single rotation was up in the air. There were so many great moments in this. Honestly, Hardpoint in this game is just so fun to watch at times, right? And Subliners just about closing out, but well, CS, I think there were some crazy moments from Octane. Asim had some great clutch moments as well. He's certainly showing that he should be considered one of the best players in the game. We're going to talk about one of the other best players in the game in just a few minutes time here, but yeah, New York do secure the series win in the end. Unfortunate for Seattle, but then again, they didn't really have anything to play for in this one. It was New York, if they won, did secure a winner's bracket spot. They do that as expected going into the series, given how good they have looked these last few days, and they secure a winner's bracket spot. Who will they be playing? Let's look at that in just a couple of minutes time. So Octane says also this: couldn't lock on for the 3-piece. He got his cruise missile right, and apparently his boat. We're probably going to talk about that in more detail tomorrow, because certainly an issue it seems in the game right now, along with a few other things the professional players have been talking about. Asim says a similar thing as well. I couldn't lock on raid control either. It is fully broken for some reason in 60 Hz. We'll get into that into more detail tomorrow. Asim back at it again. Subliners beat the Seattle Surge 1.20 KD overall in the series. Very impressive from this man, once again at turning up when it matters in a crucial series for that team, especially given Clayster, as he said himself in the interview, had a bit of an off day. Then we get into this series then. So OpTic Chicago versus Florida Mutineers. If Florida had won this series, they would have actually meant that it was Paris Legion getting into top 3 in their group, as opposed to LAG, because the 3-way tiebreak would have gone the favour of the Paris Legion, as opposed to the 2-way tiebreak between LAG and Paris going the way of Los Angeles Grillers. They started out on a good note. It was a pretty funny, actually, map number 1 here. One of the best listen-ins I've seen in quite a while. They go for a listen-in and well, there's some sort of game crash, and Formal's like asking the referee, like, come on, can we get an acknowledgement that it's going to be replayed from scratch, because the game was pretty much tied. Makes sense to do a full replay as they come to their senses and do, you know, despite all the things and the drama we saw last season. So the whole acknowledgement thing was pretty funny in this one. Best listening of the year so far, certainly. RC says the acknowledged thing as well that the referee said at the time, and well, Scump and the other guys were parroting that back to him. They do end up replaying the map though, and Mutineers actually take this one in the game number 1. Pretty impressive, right? Because a few days ago we also saw a very similar thing happen up against LAG. OpTic lost map number 1 at Garrison Hardpoint to Los Angeles Grillers in a very similar fashion, and well, honestly, clearly maybe not their best map, but then we go to checkmate in a few games time, and we certainly see that that does definitely favour OpTic Chicago at the present time. But yeah, once again, they are forced to win a Search and Destroy if they want to win a series, and they do so not exactly in spades, but they do manage to clutch up the final round here up against the FeLo Mutineers. It was a very close fought affair, and I mean, Awakening just dominated this map. Like, he did so well. He had like 14 in 7 or something, getting so many first bloods, winning like all of his opening duels. Like, his shot with the Krig in long range. I don't know if there's anyone in the world I would want to challenge less than Awakening cross map on checkmate, it seems, at the present time, but the team just cannot convert the first bloods, right? A Mutineer search and destroy, something clearly is going wrong there, right? Because Awakening seems to put the backpack on every single map in the searches, and well, it's never enough, and they lose in the round 11 right here. Then we go into the control. This goes 5 defenses, as it tends to do. But OpTic was certainly more comfortable on their defenses than, well, FeLo Mutineers were on theirs. And this final one as well, a completely dominant defense. So pretty interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. It might not be the most fun thing to watch, but at the same time, it is kind of a war of attrition in a sense. And it is still possible to win offenses on checkmate. It's far from easy though, especially with good teams at the helm in this one. OpTic managed to get the job done in a pretty deserving controlled checkmate victory overall. And then we go checkmate again. So 3 checkmates in a row. I think even game 5 was Garrison if it had gone all the way there. So maybe not the most entertaining maps in the world, but it was. Chicago once again go up massively, just as they did to the Toronto Ultra just a couple of days ago. This time it takes them a little bit longer to close it out, 250 to 178 in the end, locking up the series. As we say, not too much to play for in this series, but OpTic certainly wanted to, well, continue the story that they can beat everyone in the league right now, apart from, of course, FaZe, that they lost to in their group. Mutineers, who were their bogey team last season, actually, the Huntsmen, I think, didn't ever beat Mutineers last season. I think they were 0-3 against the Mutineers. Finally, this squad gets it done here for Chicago, and, well, a big victory for them, at least in terms of confidence going into the major. But well, that definitely means that Los Angeles Gunless, as the COD League say, get into the winners bracket spot. So these are the standings over here. So LAG get the 3rd spot, as you can see. And let's go into the final series of the day. Going into this one, it was a pretty interesting affair because OpTic versus Dallas was certainly on the cards. Dallas ended up avoiding it, but in a pretty interesting way. So effectively what would have happened here, if Los Angeles Thieves had beaten Dallas in this series, Dallas would have been the 3rd seed in Group A. The reason why is because they'd have been 3-2, as would New York, as would the Minnesota Rokkr. So then it comes down to the map count within all those 3 teams, the head-to-head between all 3 of those teams. And well, against, let's just take it from Dallas's perspective, they beat New York 3-2, they lost to the Minnesota Rokkr 2-3, therefore their map count in the head-to-head is 5-5, whereas New York's map count is 5-3, and Minnesota Rocker's map count is 3-5. So effectively what that means is New York would then win the tiebreak, then Dallas would come 2nd in the tiebreak, Minnesota would be 3rd. So regardless of what happened, Minnesota were always coming 4th in the group, and well, if Dallas had lost though, they would have been behind New York. That means they would have been in 3rd seed, that means they would have been playing the 2nd seed from the other group that was locked in as OpTic Chicago. So technically, if LA Thieves had beaten Dallas, it would have been OpTic versus Dallas 1st round of the major. What a series that would have been, but we may still get that series as we're going to talk about in just a second here. So game number 1, this was incredible, right? I mean, I've been talking about Huke these past few days, but if there was a series for Dallas to turn up in, this was one they needed to win, right? Getting that 1st seed is massive. You don't have to play OpTic round 1. That well definitely means something, gives you a much better chance of getting it all the way through to the major, and certainly locks up some more prize money as well, getting that advantage in the group. So Los Angeles Thieves right here have looked so good these last few days, but Huke, I mean, this game number 1, he completely takes it over. They win this one, a pretty close fought affair overall. It was a really heavy lead for Dallas Empire. Honestly, Raid is so much fun to watch, like, with all the potential of the comeback, the way the hills kind of linked together on this one. But yeah, Huke and co do end up taking it in the game number 1. I say right here, Huke's the best player in the game right now. Probably pretty controversial, but these are some of the statistics so far this season. Maybe we can have a talk in the coming days who actually is the best player in the game right now. A number of players up there with him, but Huke has to be, well, maybe at the top of the list, if not right up there as well, with, you know, Simp, aBeZy, Asim deserves a mention, Dashy as well, maybe even a guy like Cammy you could throw into the mix. Kenny, of course, definitely deserves a shout as well, played phenomenally in this series. But another player who certainly wanted to, I suppose, take the limelight away from Huke from that map number 1 was TJHaLy. He finds himself in a 1v3 with, well, Los Angeles Thieves already up 1-0, and he clutches the hell out of it, right? Like, ILLey makes a massive mistake here over peeking this. Crimsix then gets completely juked in the 1 versus 1. TJ takes down the 1v3, then they move up 3-0, and it feels like, okay, LA Thieves, they're coming to life, they're going to win this map, and they're going to bring it back in the series. However, that is not what happens at all. It goes all the way to around 11. Los Angeles Thieves squander a 3-0 lead in this one, goes 4-3 to Dallas, ends up going 5-4 to Thieves, then it goes 5-5, and Crimsix finds himself in a 1 versus 2 at round 11, takes down Slasher, then Temp shoots, right? Temp shoots a couple of bullets through the wall, and Crimsix is the one who is weak. Temp could have run out and challenged, tried to get him and, well, finish off the weak player, but Temp decides to call Crimsix Crimsix's bluff effectively and say, look, you're not going to ninja it, but in fact that is exactly what Crimsix does, hops on the ninja in a very difficult to win 1 versus 2 situation. This is pretty much the only way you win it, because it's so easy for Temp to be anywhere on the map. But yeah, Crim gets straight on the defuse, gets the ninja over Temp, and well, what a clutch from him, getting his own back, I suppose, on TJ for clutching that round earlier in the map. And this is the Dallas Empire we come to expect. Incredible clutch factor, winning a crucial map when it matters, going up 2-0 in the series. Then we go into the control as well, and this one was a very back and forth affair early on, but then we get this 4 dead situation from Dallas. They completely dominate this round 3 despite being down a couple of lives. They end up winning this one. Tempico can do absolutely nothing about it. Then going into the final round, it was absolutely a domination fest from the likes of Dallas, really showing why they are the world champions right now and locking up the #1 seed in their pool. So impressive stuff, all things considered. Maybe some words to be said about Los Angeles Thieves, exactly how good they are, how good they looked in this series compared to Dallas. You can certainly argue they might not be as good as we thought they were, but Dallas lock up #1 seed in their group. Very impressive stuff from them, really came to play when it mattered at the end of the day. As Crim says, we won 3-0, clutch plays all around. First seed from Group A for the Major. First seed from Group B for the Major is the Atlanta FaZe, and well, second seed in Group B was the OpTic Chicago, of course, and second seed in Group A was Los Angeles Thieves. So what is all this about the coin toss league that we've been talking about these past few days? So this is the Major bracket. Just to finish off the video, these are the matches that we are looking at. So let's hop into things then just real quick. OpTic versus Subliners is going to be round 1. This could be an absolute banger. The top of this bracket is completely stacked, to be honest, in the winners, as I suppose you would expect it to be. But OpTic Subliners round 1, it could have been the Dallas, of course, here, but Dallas Empire will play the winner of this match in round 2. So if OpTic win, we are going to get OpTic versus Empire in winners round 2. Crucial match that's going to be. Then Thieves versus Gorillas, the winner of that will play FaZe. Then elimination round 1, Surge Mutineers, Ultra Ravens, and then the winner of those will play Legion and Rokkr in this bracket. But of course, these teams have a very long way to go, all the way to the tournament finals. That's why I've been talking about these last few days, the importance of starting in the winners bracket. Intrigued to hear all your thoughts on this stuff in the comment section below. So much stuff I am sure to discuss over the coming days. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube because I know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.